Well, welcome everyone to the EUGLOH webinar series Spotlight on Education. 1 hour, 2 aspects, 1 topic, 2 partners. Today, we're going to talk about quality assurance processes. My name is Lorena Silos. I work at the University of Alcalá, and I have the pleasure of introducing our 2 speakers today, guest speakers today. First of all, Bea Utvari works at the University of Szeged, and as a Deputy Dean for the Faculty of Education, she was responsible for the international accreditation of one of the faculty's programs. She now works at the Directorate of Academic Affairs, and she's responsible for the quality assurance processes related to education. From the University of Alcalá, Enrique Alexandre is an associate professor, and he is also currently working at the university's Directorate of Quality Management as Deputy Director, where he is responsible for quality assurance of the degrees of the whole university, and he also participates as an evaluator in different quality assurances bodies. They both work hand in hand with all quality assurance processes at the University of Alcalá and the University of Szeged, and they're also involved in, especially Bea. She also takes quality assurance as part of her research, and I'm very excited because she's one of her her research focus is how to integrate AI into quality assurance processes. So please welcome everyone. And the webinar is being recorded, and it will be available at the EUGLOH website when it's ready, when it's been edited. So please let me welcome Bea is going to talk first, or Enrique is going to talk first. I've mixed up the order, sorry.
I think it's going to be me.
Enrique is first. Okay, so thank you very much, Enrique. The floor is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lorena. I will start the presentation. So, as Lorena said, we are here to talk about excellence in teaching through quality assurance. And I will start talking in a more general way about quality assurance, and later on, Bea will dig on some more specific aspects of the same problem. First of all, we should think, what is quality assurance? What do we understand about quality assurance? Okay, quality assurance is meant to ensure that we improve teaching, learning, and the outcomes of our institution. Both 3 aspects. It's not only about the institution, it's not only about teaching, it's about the 3 points. And the goal that we always have is to continuously improve these 3 standards. We try to be improving to detect probably areas or aspects that could be improved in the future and make the necessary changes to fix those aspects. So it's quality assurance is usually seen as a purely academic or administrative thing, but it's not just about that. It's also about better teaching and better learning of our students. In the framework of European higher education, quality assurance is mostly guided by the European standards and guidelines, the ESGs, that in a few minutes Bea will describe with a lot of detail, and is mostly focused on transparency, improvement, and student-centered learning. Those are the most important points of quality assurance in higher education in Europe. And of course, as I just said, it's not only about administrators, it's focused on teachers and students. Teachers are meant to be the center of quality assurance. They are the persons that will probably detect the problems, that will react to those problems and propose those solutions to improve the system continuously. Why do we say that quality assessment is important? Okay, first of all, quality assessments allows us to improve, to modify the methodologies that we use in our teaching process, and so we can be sure that our methodologies, our innovation processes met the learning outcomes of our degrees. Another consequence of quality assessment, not for us, but for our students and employers, is that it gives confidence on what the university or what our institution is doing. A good quality system projects a good view to the exterior, to our students, to employers, to the society, that our institution is serious and is doing things that it's supposed to be. Also, another consequence of quality assessment that is very positive is that ensures that what we are doing is accountability. I mean that there is a clear register that everything we do, why we do that, what we do, and what were the consequences of doing that. And that allows a clear enhancement path in the future. And finally, but not less important, is that quality assessment, of course, supports the success of our students. We try to identify the strengths and weaknesses of the students, and we can intervene, we can modify those things that support the improvement of this learning process. Usually, when we talk about quality assessment, quality assurance, we usually think as teachers, as academics, we usually have the first thought that comes to our mind is probably that quality assurance is meant to catch our mistakes, to be against us, or to try to identify only the mistakes. But in reality, we should think that quality assurance is meant to identify growth opportunities, not the negative side, not that we are looking for their mistakes, but we are looking to try to identify what would we improve in our job. Also, another myth, another perception that a lot of teachers have is that quality assurance means extra administrative work. It gives more work to us that we don't like usually. But in reality, as we will see in the next slides, quality assurance is mainly integrated into our daily workflows. We are working on quality assurance daily. The only difference might be if we have a register of what we are doing, and if we are conscious of what we are doing and how that has an impact on the quality assessment of the institution. Just to give some examples that illustrate that you already are contributing as teachers to quality assurance, I took four examples. For example, something that we all do every year probably is review and design the curriculum of our subjects. We usually take that the program we are relevant, we update the references, the bibliography, we update probably some kind of qualification format of the subject or so on. So this kind of revision of the curriculum is mainly, or is focused on improving our teaching experience and our learning of our students. So we are contributing to the quality system of the institution. Also, assessment criteria, which we also modify probably yearly or I don't know, regularly. It also helps to improve the quality. It also forms part of the quality assurance system of an institution. And an example of that would be if you, in your subject, you include a rubric that helps students to have clear what you are assessing in your classes, or you give a clear assessment guidelines or something like that. Another thing that we are also very used to do is to collect the student feedback. Probably we can do that as teachers individually, asking the students or collecting individual polls that we use for our personal interest, or the institutions usually use institutional surveys to at the end of the course to collect the response of the students and know what they think about their learning, what they think about the materials that they have available for the course or something like that. So that's another part, another integral part of the quality assurance system of an institution, and we are also working on that very usually in a daily basis. And finally, another example that we can think of things that contribute to the quality is providing feedback to the students by a lot of means. It can be via the assessment. When you give a corrected assessment to the students, it can be on a daily basis in the classroom with questions and answers that you get from the students. It can be done in a very different ways, but in any case, you are giving feedback to the students and you are helping them to identify their weak points and know how they can improve in their learning process. So with all that in mind, what I wanted, but what was my main goal with this presentation is that quality assurance is not just an administrative burden. So teachers are usually doing the most important part of quality assurance in our daily work. Quality assurance helps us to get recognition for our efforts and our innovations. We can collect information and get information that is important to know if we are doing things well or not, and obviously get that recognition for our good work. And also supports us in making our teaching more effective and more rewarding, because if you know what you are doing and know why you are doing that, you will do things clearly better. There are some good practices that in quality assurance that mainly go or mainly correlate with the work of teachers. And most of them go with the previously examples. Review our teaching materials should be something that we do continuously. Try to keep our materials updated. We can use our experience in research to improve the materials, to keep the curriculum of our subject up to date and updated with the last innovations in the field. It's important that we collaborate with our peers, with our colleagues that can give us their impressions, their experience. I tried that and that worked very well. So maybe if our colleague found some some methodology or some idea that was interesting and gave good results, maybe it will be good for me in my own classroom. Participate in quality processes, in quality assurance processes, I think it's very important because it's important to see really the importance of these processes and how they finally are implemented and have an impact on the institution and on the teaching and on the learning processes that we have. Of course, it's important to act on feedback, as we have said. It's important to get information from the students, from other colleagues, from whatever, and act on that feedback. And last but not least, try to document all these processes, because if we have a documentation behind us, we can know, as I said before, why we were doing things, for what reason, what motivated us to modify our curriculum, to modify our methodology or whatever. And we can get some kind of diary that helps us construct a logical path in this process and not be moving things randomly that probably will not give a good result. Just to finish, and I think Lea will probably talk about this in a few minutes. I'd like to share with you the continuous improvement cycle that is very linked to quality assurance systems. It's the plan, check, do, act, and it's a continuous cycle. So it's based on setting our goals. For example, I want to improve my interactivity in our lectures. I want to get more interaction with my students to improve that point. So I should later on check, see why they are not interacting with me, what they think about my lectures, if they are boring, they are, I don't know, I don't give a floor to the students to talk. Do something about that. That's implementing new techniques, using polls in the classroom, I don't know, making more questions. And after that, act about that. So adjust this based on that data. I should modify what I'm doing and come back to the beginning of the process. That's very quickly what is the continuous improvement cycle. So that was for my side everything. Thank you very much, and I will be open later on to your questions.
Thank you very much, Enrique, for this broad presentation and especially for debunking many myths that many of us as teaching staff have about quality assurance. I think that's really helpful to see that we can actively take part in quality assurance processes and that it can contribute to improve our work-life balance, I believe. Now it's over to Bea, but please, thank you, because you have reminded me that I forgot at the beginning of the session to inform the audience, the participants, that they can write their questions to both Enrique and Bea in the Q&A section that you can find at the bottom of your screen. Yeah. So please write all the questions you have for our guest speakers. And now over to Bea. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorena, and thank you, Enrique, for the support. Before I jump into the details, I would like to reflect to some points, or I would like to emphasize how I'm connecting to Enrique's presentation. In this presentation, I will also show you several examples, but I would put into the framework of the ESG, what Enrique also mentioned, But before we discuss this part, I would like to show you a concrete example for the PDCA cycle, because this is what we are doing in a course throughout the semester. So I would like to somehow convince you that it's not an additional work, it's just a daily routine what we are doing. So here I would like to show you an example for a course that we do during the semester. So in the plan phase, we define the learning outcomes, what we would like from our students to have by the end of the course. We define the agenda, what topics we would like to teach for our students. We also define the teaching methods that is in connection with the learning outcomes, and we also define the assessment method too. Then comes the do section. In this phase, we just implement the course according to our plans. So how we defined the agenda, how we defined the teaching method and the assessment method, we do everything accordingly. And then comes the phase check. In this case, we also reflect on ourselves, whether the semester was successful or not, what went well, what went wrong, how we can intervene next time, how we can improve it, what lessons we learned from this course. We also analyze the course grades, and we also analyze the student feedback too, just to get more feedback, more data about how this course went throughout the semester. At the end, then, based on this analysis, we improve the course content, or we change the teaching method for the next semester, or we decide that the assessment method was not the best one, so we need to do something else. And everything happens based on this process. So we planned something, at the end of the process we check whether it was successful or not, and based on the result of this analysis we intervene so that we can be much better in the next semester. I would like to emphasize here that the ACT part or the result of the ACT phase can be that everything was perfect and we do not need to change anything. So you can also say that, okay, that was great and I would like to repeat it in the next semester. It doesn't mean that you always have to improve something, because it may happen that you worked on something for many years and then this year it worked completely well. This plan, do, check, act cycle appears in the ESG framework as well. So the questions or the standards that are defined by the European standards and guidelines, or officially how it is said, the standards and guidelines for quality assurance in the European higher education area. It's a document that was accepted in 2015. It is under revision at the moment, and it is said that there will be a new set of standards by 2027. So we expect something new, but currently we are working accordingly. And these are the standards that define the quality assurance procedures or quality assurance aspects of higher education. You can see on this figure that there are 10 points that are defined by the ESGs. It defines policy for quality assurance, design and approval of programs, or if we have a look at on the fifth one, it's teaching staff, information management, public information, ongoing monitoring and periodic review of programs. So it covers almost all the education-related activities that we have throughout the higher education. It's also very important that the ESGs define standards. So when you look up the ESG document, you can find the standard for each point. So there is one paragraph description what policy for quality assurance means, how you can meet this criteria. It also provides some guidelines how you can meet this criteria. And there is also one interesting point, is the stakeholder engagement. It often appears in the ESG document that you need to engage students, non-administrative colleagues, labor market information or labor market actors into different activities. So it's very important that the ESG is also defined that it's not an individual work. It's somehow a collective work. And when you do some kind of improvement, it should somehow reflect on the aspects of the different stakeholders as well. Next, please. So I would like to show you some examples what teachers can do for quality assurance. But I would change this sentence and I wouldn't say that what can teachers do. I would say what teachers already do in quality assurance, because it's not an additional thing, but it's what we are doing at the moment. I would show you some concrete examples by ESG points, so that you can also see that, this is what I'm doing at the moment, and then, this is in connection with this point. So the first one is the design and approval of programs, what teachers do in this QA process or in this QA standard. When you harmonize the course content with the goal of the study program, then you are doing a QA activity. For example, you define the pre-requirements of a course, you build the bridge between different courses, or you define that this is the learning outcome, but in order to be able to meet this goal, you have to somehow provide additional course too. When you participate in meetings of the design of programs, it's also a QA activity. Just remember the stakeholder engagement point that I emphasized before. So it is the same. So you are also a stakeholder. If you are engaged in this process, then you are also part of the QA activity. Let's see the next point. Student-centered learning and teaching and assessment is also a very important ESG point. In this case, the regular improvement of teaching material or the teaching method is the key examples of this point. So for example, if you integrate new topic in your teaching material because you read something interesting, or there is a technological change, or for example, the AI appeared and then you would like to somehow teach the students how they can use AI in your courses, then it's also a student-centered learning, teaching and assessment ESG point. Enrique also mentioned the student feedback, or when you provide feedback to students, it's also a very important point. According to the ESGs, it's very important that we should provide precise feedback to students. So it's not just, okay, they provided the presentation, but they didn't get any feedback what was good in the presentation and what should be improved. It's also very important that the home assignments and other tests should be analyzed, and you should give feedback to students. But if you are doing this, then it's a QA activity. Let's see the next point. Student admission, progression, recognition, and certification is this ESG point. You can support students in needs. I'm sure that we are, or everybody does it. For example, you provide additional consultation for the student, or if there is a student who doesn't understand the concept or needs additional explanation and you provide it, it meets this ESG point. Consistent assessment and assessment practice must be in the course. It means that the learning outcomes, or the goal of the course is the learning outcomes, the competencies and the assessment must be in line with each other. And you also need to provide feedback on the admission, or you can provide feedback on the admission system. If you participate in the admission procedure as a lecturer, so you are responsible for selecting the best students to join the study program, you can also provide feedback to the leadership of the school, what your experiences are about the admission system, about the admission procedure, whether the rules, whether the content of the admission procedure is good or not. So when you do this, then you are working in the ESG 1.4 point. So that is this standard. Teaching staff is the next one. In this case, the self-learning through academic conferences and trainings meet this standard. So when we are going to conferences, providing our presentations, listening to other colleagues to get more insights about our topics, or we participate in pedagogical methodology trainings, then it's also a kind of self-learning or self-improvement. It meets this standard. Erika also mentioned this peer learning as a good practice. So when you discuss with your colleagues what went wrong, what went well in a class, or you would like to find a solution to your problem in your course, and you would like to get some advice from your colleague, it's also this ESG point. When you apply new digital methods, it also meets that. As for the next one, it's the information, ESG. It's how to collect information. When you follow your course statistics, and I'm completely sure that a lot of teachers follow the student feedback, or there is systematic feedback collection, or how students can provide feedback to the teachers. You can also follow the dropout rates of your course. And if something is going wrong, you can intervene, or you can say that, oh, I can see that most of the students received the best grade, so maybe here there is a kind of problem, or it doesn't meet the goal that I wanted to meet. So then you can intervene. Self-reflection, but I also mentioned at the very beginning of my presentation. So in the self-reflection, you can decide what to keep and what to change in the next semester when you provide a course. And let's see the last one. This is the program review. This is also a very important ESG point. It says that regularly we have to systematically review our programs. As a teacher, you can also contribute this, or you also contribute this when you modify a course based on feedback from students, or for example, there is a need, or there is an idea from the leadership of the school that project-based learning should be in the focus in the study program, and you apply or you adjust your course to this new teaching method, and then it's also an improvement in the course, so it can also happen. Okay, so as a summary, I would like to say that everything starts from the roots, like in the case of the tree. So if the roots work well, then everything is going well, and we can be a very big tree by the end. And the roots are the work that we do as teachers. So we plan the course, we collect student feedback, we define the grading, we improve the curriculum, and so on. And these contribute to have a better student experience, better learning outcomes, and or at the end, we can also say that there is a stronger program that is very attractive for the potential students. So these are the things that I wanted to tell to you. So thank you very much for your attention, and we are very welcome to your questions.
Thank you very much, Bea. This is not my job. What a beautiful image with a tree, and also thank you for making us realize that many of the little things we do every week, every semester, every academic year contribute to improving the quality of our teaching, even if we're not aware of it. Well, I would love to please, if the participants have any questions, please do write them in the Q&A section of the webinar. But I really have so many questions to ask both of you. that I would like to start perhaps on how can we motivate our studentship to be more, to contribute more when they answer surveys, for example, at the end of the semester or at the end of the school year. And also, I always get the impression that students are very passionate. So when they answer a survey, it's going to be perhaps maybe on the extreme. Either they love the subject, they love the way the teacher has prepared the material, or they hated it and it was too difficult. So how can we motivate to be frank, to be realistic, to be, and or if they are not, how can we filter that information as you know, as, or how do you filter that information as people in charge of the quality assurance processes?
Okay, maybe I can start. At our university, there is a systematic collection of student feedback. So it's a centralized activity. We have 12 faculties and it's centrally organized activity. Last year, we had focus group interviews with students, and we also asked them how they are motivated when they fill in this questionnaire, and how can they be more motivated during this activity. And they told us that they would like to better understand what is the main goal of this survey, so it's very important. But maybe the most important thing was that they would like to see that there are some actions that happen owing to their response. So it's very important that the teachers can also provide feedback to the students after this student feedback that, okay, thank you very much for the feedback. I learned this, and the next year I would change this and this. And it was also advised for us that maybe at faculty level or at school level, we can also provide a feedback that at school level, based on the student feedback, these changes will be implemented in the future. And then this would somehow help the students see that when they fill in the survey, it's not just for nothing, but it also has some impacts on the future.
Yeah, I see that.
On our side, on my university, we are very close to what Via has just said. And I'd love to have the key to improve the motivation of the students in the polls, but our approach at the moment is to involve. I was thinking about the image of the tree of before there to try to motivate the students in the students' council, which is quite a, I don't know if I small, but it's a subgroup of all the students. And so we try to motivate those students to explain to them why answering the polls is important for us, for the university. It's also important for them, because usually, as she was saying before, the students, I think they don't see the consequences of the polls. As you were saying, Lorena, that they are very extreme at some points, but those that see that everything is bad, they don't see that anything is made to correct those problems. So we try to talk to them, to explain to these representatives of the students that things go slower than they would like, that probably they will not see the immediate consequences of the polls, but probably in a few years, their partners that will come after them will see the consequences. And so what we asked these representatives is to go to the classroom and explain their peers why the polls are important. Because usually when I, as teacher, talk to the students, they see a teacher. But if another student goes to the classroom, they see a peer. So we hope that will help a little bit, but it's a very, very difficult problem. It's a very, very good question.
I would connect to here because Enrique mentioned a very important thing. It's the communication. In the communication, we also created a very colorful and student-centered poster for the students, and we also shared it with the schools. This poster was about how they can benefit the most from this poll and what they need to pay attention to when they fill in the questionnaire or the survey. So, for example, we mentioned to them that when they provide feedback to the teacher, they need to be assertive. I mean that they need to avoid the harmful speech or the harmful text. They can be critical, but they need to pay attention to this and this and this. So we provided some hints and ideas for the students, what we require from them, and how can we benefit the most from their feedback. So I suppose this happened this semester. I haven't seen the current results of this poll, so I don't know whether it had any result, but I suppose that it is much better if you say to your students what you require from them.
Thank you. I think it's much easier today also because we live in a culture where quality is like part of our daily life, no? When you go to a restaurant, many people give stars, or when they go to a hotel. So I think it's easier now than 10 years ago. So I think we're in the right moment in history to really improve the quality of our degrees, of our teaching. Let's go to the other side. I mean, we've talked about students. How can institutions motivate their teaching staff to try to contribute more to these processes? What do you do in Szeged? What do you do in Alcalá?
Okay, I think the best way and probably the most difficult way is to give recognition to this kind of activities that usually is not seen for the teachers as quality, as something that is useful for the work, for the improvement in the work. So I think it's important for the institutions to give recognition, to make quality an important part of the professional progression of the teachers.
Totally, yeah. Yeah, even from above, that it should come from not even from the university, but from above, not so that the quality in your teaching really contributes to your professional career, as you've said. And what about Szeged? Yeah. Do you have any other means for motivating teaching staff?
I suppose that here it often comes up that we are doing everything for the accreditation. We need it, we have to do it because we need the national accreditation, or in some cases we need the international accreditation. It can be a good motivator as well, but if we emphasize it, then maybe it would cause or it would result in the administrative burden that Erika also mentioned, that they would think that we need it because of the accreditation. What I suppose is that if we declare, or if we publicly, or if we completely define what is the why behind this activity, then we can engage them. What I see at the moment is that we have a so-called accreditation working group, and we are working on quality assurance activities related to education in this working group. And I can see that they are engaged, and that's why they are motivated to do something. We discuss different topics together, and then they can share good practices, worst practices, what they need to avoid, and so on. So I also feel that the communication is very important, and defining the goal, why is it important for the school, then it would also result in better engagement or better motivation.
Thank you very much. We have a question in the Q&A. Ira Prodanov from the University of Novi Sad. Well, she considers that yours is an excellent discussion, so she congratulates you on that. And she would like to point out that many of these questionnaires for measuring quality in higher education institutions have missed out on an important element, which is the satisfaction of the staff, of the teaching staff. What are your thoughts on that?
I completely agree. In our particular case in Alcalá, we make questionnaires for the staff. We are obligated by our accreditation institutions to make questionnaires to all the relevant bodies in the meaning students, professors, administrative staff, and also employers and past students that have already finished their studies and are working. So I think it's of course very relevant to get the feedback from the staff.
Mm.
Well, here's a bravo for Alcalá.
Unfortunately, in Szeged, we do not have such kind of questionnaire. It was several years ago, so there was, but I don't know what is the reason. But it was somehow skipped for a few years. We are planning to get it back because it's very important. I also remember that the library of the university also has this kind of questionnaire, and they do it regularly. We also discussed at the time that it would be great to have this satisfaction questionnaire at least every second year, but it is much better if you have it every year because then you can remember what was good, what was bad in a certain year.
Thank you. Bea, you were in charge also you were part of the process of attaining the international accreditation of one of your degrees. Now that the talk within European alliances is of the European degree label, do you think we will ever, or is there any discussion on a international accreditation for all European universities? Do you think that would be a thing in the years to come?
Our international accreditation was went through the EFMD, so it's for business schools, and it's very important that this accreditation happened only for one program from one school, so it's not a joint activity. As far as I know, the European degree is a kind of joint program, so different universities work together to issue a degree by the end of the studies. And this raises a bit different question because the quality assurance procedures must be done by different universities, different schools, and there must be a harmonization between the universities. There is also a tool for this, or some accreditation agencies use the so-called European approach to use the accreditation, or this is the tool for the accreditation of these joint programs. And the European approach is based on the ESGs. So it also defines the 10 points that we discussed. So the QA policy, the teaching staff, program review, recognition, admission, the teaching staff, and all the things. So it's the same, but we have to somehow understand it at a joint level. So from this point of view, it's a bit different. It can be a challenging issue anyway, because if different universities work together and then different teachers from different universities work together, but if there is a very strong leader in this consortium, then it would result in a very good QA.
Yeah, definitely. You both mentioned in your presentations, you both mentioned training, and training also as a way of staff, peer teachers getting together and communicating and sharing. And I was wondering if you think that in order to improve the quality of our teaching, of our degrees, it would be important that all teachers, like especially like junior faculty, would take part in a training program, like a special training program for junior teaching staff. Would that be recommendable, perhaps? I don't know if Enrique or Bea, I'm sure you have thoughts. Both
Yes,
have thoughts.
I think it's very useful. And as you said, in Alcalá, or in Spain, in all the University of Spain, the new teachers have now a mandatory course to get the very basics of teaching methodologies and practice. So I think it's a very good idea. So they also see another peers, another young teachers, another more experienced teachers that can tell them some clues, some things that may be useful for them in the future. Yeah, I agree with you completely.
Here, yeah, at the University of Szeged, we have the rules and regulations of employment, and it declares that the junior teachers must meet some criteria, or they must improve themselves. The university offers several courses in which they can participate. One of them is a key one that is, I would say, it's compulsory for the junior ones. It's the student-centered learning. It's a training. It's very interesting because previously it was a 2-year-long training, but seeing the availability of the teachers, it was reduced to a 1-day training. But it was available on the Coursera as well as an e-learning course.
Okay.
So the university offers a lot of possibilities to the juniors to complete this course.
So I believe that is starting to be a normal thing for all universities to provide these training programs for junior staff. Also, as you were saying, no, to give them the space to talk to one another and to share experiences and to share fears, perhaps, or insecurities that we all have when we start teaching. Definitely. So I would like to.
Sorry, may I add?
Yeah, of course, please, Bea.
From an American university, I learned a very good practice, and it's a very good one, but it needs human resources. So at that university, there was a person whose task was supporting the junior teachers. It means that he was the person who regularly attended classes of this teacher, and he provided feedback, how to improve, how to manage the class, what method he has to use, and so on. And this procedure went on for 3 years. So not only for the first year, but for 3 years. And at the end of the 3 years, the teacher had to provide a so-called portfolio in which the teacher described how his teaching method changed or how he improved throughout this procedure. So it was a kind of coach for 3 years. So I really liked it because I suppose that it's a very sensitive topic. I mean that when you say that you do not do something well, then if somebody is a coach, then he can somehow approach you in a way that would motivate you to react to it. And in a face-to-face or a one-to-one, maybe this is the right word, so in a one-to-one discussion, it is much better than in a training that, okay, there are 20 people and you have to say that I cannot do it.
Yeah, this mentoring, no, that you mentioned also in your presentation. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, Enrique.
Following Bea's, I was thinking that these kind of courses are I think they're very useful, not only for teaching how to teach or learning how to be a teacher, but also learning about how the university works. Because some young teachers told us that in this course they learned how does the faculty council work, the government council of the university, what processes are in the university to prove anything, to do anything that usually these kind of things are unknown to people outside from the academia or even from students. So that's another, I think, parallel curricula that it's very important for young teachers to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. There are two questions in the Q&A section, so we're going to try to answer them really quickly. Manuela Miliani would like to know if in Spain there is an online central course, or each university decides on how to shape that course for junior staff. Enrique.
I think that's for me. It's not central. Each university is in charge of the course, and there are some guidelines made from the central government, but each university can design and, of course, is in charge of delivering the course.
Thank you.
And it's not online. It's
it's face to face.
Yes,
face to face. Yeah, Manuela. Thank you for the question. And then Ursula Walczuk would like to, well, it's more of a question, it's more of a comment, that she believes that students are that we're far behind, that students are more up to date with technology and teaching tools, and that shouldn't we also receive like training in that regard, like more technological tools to improve our teaching, and what solutions are there in universities?
Okay, at our university.
Or using technology, maybe AI, to improve our teaching.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree with this question. So it's a very great question. At our university, there are several e-learning courses that are developed through a project, and it covers different fields, different areas. It covers how to use different digital tools in your classes, for example, Canva, Geniali, or other digital tools. So how to engage students in the classes. We also plan to have some workshops how AI can be integrated into education. So it's also a kind of peer learning, that there are some practices and then how we can do it.
That's in our case is quite similar. We have a program of courses for the teachers that we offer monthly to all the teachers. It's not mandatory; it's optional for the teachers. Some are online, some are face to face, and of course they include things about IA and new tools, new technological tools that may be useful for the teachers. And as an example of continuous improvement, we are continuously asking the teachers what they need, what they would be useful for them, and try to adapt the courses to these things.
And Ira would like to know if it's possible to organize this kind of training, I suppose technological training or junior staff training, I don't know, in the frame of the EUGLOH Alliance. That's something to note down for the people responsible for this. I don't know, Ira, if you could maybe specify if you were talking about this training, technological training, or junior staff members. Let's wait a second. Technological. So we will take note of that and maybe and forward it to the people responsible in case it is possible. I'm sure it could be, very well could be. Well, time's up, I'm afraid. but I would like to thank you very much for this very enriching and engaging and very, very interesting discussion on quality assurance. I think everyone that has attended now feels more relaxed, believing that quality is also part of the work they do every day. So thank you very much, Bea. Thank you very much, Enrique. For all those participating, you will receive an email with a few questions about the webinar to improve our quality as well. So we would be very grateful if you could answer them, because it helps us improve. And we will continue this spotlight series in the autumn, so please stay tuned in our social networks and website to hear more about education. Thank you very much and have a lovely afternoon, evening. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.